learning more about whom the defense team plans to call to the witness stand.
And the prosecution does appear to be tying up loose ends, as you mentioned, again, focusing on phone records in another attempt to link Michael Jackson to the conspiracy. But as of yet, the prosecution, according to one court watcher, has not yet connected the dots between Michael Jackson and the conspiracy charge.
I don't think they need a miracle, but they do need a very strong witness to tie this thing down, especially the conspiracy, because, as I say, they can survive losing it, but it is going to taint the rest of their case.
Meantime, NBC News has learned when the defense begins presenting its case, the defense will call immediately 3 young boys who are now young men, who the prosecution says at one time Michael Jackson molested. We are being told the defense says these young men will say it never happened. So who are these young boys who are now young men? Well, actor Macaulay Culkin, we have heard a lot about him during this trial. He, of course, is, as I mentioned, an actor, starred in Home Alone. He has publicly said nothing happened when he spent time with Michael Jackson at his Neverland Ranch. Then there is Wade Robson. He appeared in 2 videos with Michael Jackson. He also says nothing inappropriate happened between him and the pop star. And then the defense says they will call Brett Barnes, who apparently he's from Australia. He wrote a fan letter to Michael Jackson in the 90s and was apparently invited out to Jackson's ranch. They met. They became companions. Brett Barnes, too, says nothing inappropriate happened between him and Michael Jackson.
It's just like a slumber party where you go over to your friend's place and just tell them the truth, and that's it. I love Michael very dearly. He's the best role model, best friend I've ever had.
He was a boy back then, now he's a young man, and he testified. Nothing happened between me and Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson never touched me inappropriately. Back with us is trial attorney Jeffrey FIEGER and John Spilborn, criminal defense attorney. And Mike Tybee, of course. All right. So, Jeffrey, bad day for the prosecutors. I mean, it's not that significant in the big context of the case, but the bottom line is they never should have even mentioned these kids and allowing the defense to get up there and say it didn't happen.
No, I don't agree. Like, remember in 1948, Lyndon Johnson told his press, his campaign manager, to accuse his opponent of sexual improprieties. He said, Lyndon, nobody will believe him. Believe that happened. He said, yeah, I just want to hear him deny it. It's a crazy defense to put people on here and say, he didn't do it to me. That'd be like Scott Peterson saying, he didn't kill me.
No.
Yeah.
Here, I'll tell you the difference. The difference is that prosecutors introduced evidence that it did happen.
Good.
These are not just character witnesses.
I don't care.
I'm saying that they never would have come in if the prosecutors hadn't gotten into this in the first place.
Well, I'll tell you, the guys they won't call are the ones who he paid millions of dollars
That's
to.
right. No, I don't expect
you know, and the jury.
But why muddy the water?
Because that opens the door. Now the prosecution says, well, how about the ones he didn't call? How about the ones that he paid money to? Did they come in here and deny that he molested them? That is not a good defense, Dan. I don't care what you say. That's a terrible defense. Think about how normal people feel. They don't think like that. They think, okay, he didn't do it to you. What does that mean?
Well, John, what it says to me is the prosecutors got it wrong.
That's nuts. Yeah, I'm completely with you on this one, Dan. And I'm a big fan of Jeffrey FIEGER, but I got to say, this is like taking it back to the shins of the prosecution case. I mean, Tom Sneddon called witnesses to say that these exact kids were molested, and so they're victims, and now they're going to take the stand out of their own mouths and say it never happened. That's powerful. And am I the only one who thinks there's an elephant in the room? Ethically, was it okay for Tom Sneddon to put the third-party witnesses on the stand, knowing that the alleged victims were going to deny
because, look, all they're talking about, remember, they didn't they didn't claim that they saw molestation. One witness, the former maid, said that she saw them in the shower, and their trunks, the swimming trunks were outside. There wasn't actual witnessing of molestation, but there was a suggestion.
I don't know what Jeffrey FIEGER means by that. If you, Jeffrey FIEGER, were named as a person for 12 years who, when you were a boy, were molested by somebody, wouldn't you want at some point to correct the record? Now, Brett Barnes was asked that question today, why are you here? He says, look, I'm very mad about it. I'm reading my notes here. They're putting my name in the dirt, and it's not true. I'm really, really, really not happy about it. His explanation for it. I know I'd want to know that. And if in a criminal trial I were named as one of the victims, and I wasn't a victim. If that's that's true.
Then what I would say is what at that point Michael Jackson is what, a 35 or 36-year-old man with a child. What in the world are you doing with him after you've paid millions of dollars to other children? What in the world are you even giving the appearance of impropriety? If a prosecutor couldn't convict him on that.
First of all, wait a second. He hadn't paid millions of dollars at that point at the time he was spending.
In 93?
Secondly, in 93,
he was
until 94.
Well, assume he was engaged.
1990, 91.
Mike, assume at that time he was engaged.
Jeffrey.
Contemporaneously, he was engaged in molesting other children. That's bad. That's just bad.
You don't know that he's molested other children.
Well, yeah, he only paid him $25 million out of the goodness of his heart.
Let me play this.
With kids.
On that one, I'm with Jeffrey in the sense that, you know, the 93 case, if they'd been able to try the 93 case, I think Michael Jackson would be in a lot more trouble than he is here. But, all right, this is Brett Barnes, again, one of the boys who was a boy at the time, now he's a man. This is what he said back in 1993.
He is very nice, very, very nice, and he cares a lot about kids, and he's very kind, and you just say you went to a toy shop, you showed him a toy you wanted, he'd buy that, and if he's wearing a piece of jewelry, and you say, oh, that's nice, he'll give it to you.
What do you get out of your friendship with him? A companionship? Is he there for you to talk to and that kind of thing?
Well, yeah, there for me to play with, there for me to love. He's like a best friend, except he's big. He's just like a close friend, like a family friend. It's like I've known him all my life and in a past life. He doesn't act overly emotional in that kind of way. He like loves you like he's your own father, brother, or sister, mother.
John, what about the argument that all these kids who are young men now who are going to come in and say nothing happened have a motive to say nothing happened because it's not going to help their careers? A lot of them are out in the public eye, etc. People think that they were molested by Michael Jackson.
Now, I don't think that's going to hold a whole lot of water, Dan. I mean, you know, so what? I think the bigger question is, if these kids were really molested, why didn't Tom Sneddon prosecute Michael Jackson for those 3 kids? You don't have to have a cooperating witness to prosecute. Lots of witnesses recount on the stand.
These weren't prosecutable offenses. This was just a show.
Why not?
Because one of them, he just, you know, squeezed his tushy.
Well, I mean, he brought it up as 1108 evidence. He's trying to convince the jury that that was prosecutable.
Wait a second.
Let me
Does the jury need to be convinced that it's improper to sleep with a 35-year-old adult man?
Look, there's no question that sort of behavior is inappropriate, and that's why it's coming in, to say this is a pattern of things over the years.
That's right.
But I'm saying that they're not going to charge him individually for each one of these offenses. That's the whole reason the law exists.
But wasn't there a witness, Mr. Chacon, who testified that Michael Jackson performed oral sex on a little boy?
Yeah,
that's prosecutable.
Yeah,
I mean, that's disgusting.
But that's the 93 case, and that's the one where we know why they didn't charge.
And that's why he paid him $25 million.
Right.
Have you slept in the same bed with him?
Yeah, but I was on one side, he was on the other. And it's this big bed.